Hey guys, so a lot of you have requested more shoulder mobility videos, things for improving your front rack. So that's what we're going to talk about today. There's a couple things. When I started CrossFit, I had a really hard time achieving a good front rack and getting the bar to where it could actually rest on my shoulder and lift my elbows high enough. So that's what I'm going to show you. And this is also great if you already have a good front rack to do before you do anything that's clean, intensive front squat, to make sure that we're maintaining that good front rack as well. So the first thing we're gonna start with is a barbell smash on our forearms. So if our forearms are tight, it may be limiting some of our wrist mobility. So you definitely wanna smash those out regularly, just to make sure that our wrist mobility is staying on point. So all I do, I have a regular barbell. You could start with a lighter barbell. I have a women's 35-pound bar. So I'm just gonna lay on my side and I'm gonna gently just bring the barbell onto my forearm, and then I'm gonna guide the barbell up, just relaxing my forearm as much as I can. So I'm working all the way up to my elbow, and then I can work all the way back down. And that would be one. I would do 15 to 20 passes per arm. The weight adds just a little bit of an extra component and allows you just to smash out the forearm. Once you go 15 to 20 passes on one side, you can flip over your forearm and actually start to work on the other side as well. This side for me is much more painful, working up towards the elbow. So I just take it super slow and controlled, working on taking the barbell all the way down towards my wrist and then all the way back up, rolling it nice and easy. It's that good pain. So it hurts, but it feels good and I know it's gonna help. Again, another on this side, 15, ideally 20 passes. I usually make it around 10 to 15. So the next drill I have is a wrist mobility drill. So we're actually gonna go into a couple banded stretches and mobility drills. So the first one, you're gonna take your band. I like to use a green band and hook it about a foot off of the rig. From here, I'm gonna pull the band back and I'm just gonna place my hand right into the band. Super simple. Palm is gonna go flat on the ground and I'm just gonna find to where there's a little bit of tension and the band is wanting to pull me back over, so pull my shoulder over my wrist. I'm gonna just apply a little bit of pressure and then I'm gonna rock back. And I'm gonna do about 5 of those, trying to rock as far forward with about a 3-second hold and then rock back. And then I'm just gonna hold there for about 30 seconds and see if I can get my forearm just to continue to loosen up and my wrist to loosen up a little bit as well. When you do this, my fingers are already starting to crunch, so that means bend. I wanna make sure my hand stays as flat, so I'm gonna come in just a little bit, press each finger individually through the ground, keeping that full contact with the ground, really feeling it, and then driving back. So again, if your fingers kind of start to curl up on you, bring your hand in and work on keeping those fingers totally flat to the ground. So a lot of times I feel like the wrist is the most forgotten. We don't typically tend to stretch our wrist. It's just like, wow, that didn't feel good or that hurts. Versus when we maybe do an air squat and we hit the bottom, we're like, oh, my ankles feel tight. You just walk up to a wall or a bike or a rig post and you put your foot on there and you stretch out the back of your ankle and your calf. We need to take that same mentality and that same mindset when it comes to our wrists. So making sure that we're mobilizing our wrists and continue to strengthen and stretch them so it'll help all of our lifts moving forward. Depending on where you're mobile, where you're tight, you may like one of these better than the other, but now I'm gonna flip directions. So this time I'm gonna come away from the rig and the band's gonna be pulling my wrist back towards the rig. I'm gonna put my hand flat again, so fingers fully extended, and then from here I'm gonna drive my shoulder over. I just got a nice pop, it felt so good. Driving my shoulder over my wrist and then coming back. And again, I'm pressing my palm through the floor, trying to keep my fingers completely flat, and there should be a really nice, almost like a distraction feeling throughout the forearm and the wrist, just continuing to open up that wrist mobility. So pulsing back and forth for about 5 reps and then holding for about 30 seconds per arm. Another super simple one, I'm gonna use the band again. I'm gonna teach you a trick to get in and out because getting out is sometimes the hardest. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take our heel onto the band. From here, I'm gonna kind of bend to the side, taking the band in my palm and then coming over. I wanna think about trying to stand up tall and then letting the band gently stretch my tricep and through my lat and just hanging out here. I really like to do this one before handstand push-ups, before any shoulder to overhead movements, jerks especially. This really helps me open up my tricep and get ready to press. So I will hold this one for at least 60 seconds and think about my breathing, trying to take big, long inhales and exhales and just continue to try to let the band pull my hand just behind my shoulder and down my back. it feels very nice. To get out of this is the key. All you have to do, it seems so simple, lift your heel. And now I come right out of the stretch. I don't have to compromise any positions, but just by lifting my heel, the tension on the band becomes let go, and I can just pop right out of the stretch and switch sides. All right guys, so next we're gonna do a similar type of stretch to the last one, but we're gonna come from the rig post. So what I'm gonna do is hang the band from the post. I'm actually gonna come forward, bringing my elbow just into the band. Then I'm gonna grab with my palm the band. From here, I wanna externally rotate. So think about rolling out as I gently lean forward. That's gonna give you an awesome stretch all through this quadrant right here. So all the way down my tricep, through my lat, continuing to open up my shoulder. And I'm just gonna breathe. If I can, I'll take a step out. Think apply pressure with your elbow into the band, but always keeping the hand and the shoulder externally rotated to keep opening up your shoulder. Try to hang out here, again, a minimum of 60 seconds. And breathing really big, not just chest breaths, but breathe deep into your belly while you're in this position. The next stretch is gonna build off of the last stretch. So we started the last stretch with the bent elbow. So we're targeting our tricep all through here. This time, we're gonna continue by opening up our shoulder all the way. So I'm just gonna take the band into my palm. I like to step the opposite leg forward. Think about sliding my shoulder down and back so I have a long neck. And then I'm just gonna gently apply pressure with my hand into the band. Again, this is another great stretch to do if we have a heavy shouldered overhead day, if we have some handstand push-ups, or a great time to do it is to cool down after if you had any of those movements. This time I feel less through here and a little bit more through here. All right, the last banded stretch we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna show you how to do all of these on the rig or a wall or a post, just in case you don't have bands and you don't have a pull-up bar, is gonna be for our lats. So I've showed something similar to this before, but for front rack mobility for our shoulders, it could either be wrist mobility, or it could be triceps, or it could be lats. So we wanna make sure we hit all three of those areas. So what I'm gonna do is take my hand in the band. I like to put it so it sits on the back of my wrist so I can grab the band with my palm. Then I'm gonna roll my thumb out, so I'm still in that externally rotated position. From here, I'm gonna sit back, drop my back knee behind, and then kick my leg over. So from here, I can kind of roll towards this front arm and gently let the band pull me. From here, I'm just thinking about taking really big deep breaths into wherever I feel the stretch. If it's too easy, you can come back a little bit further, let your chest drop towards your front leg, and then again, roll towards that side. All right, so just in case you don't have a pull-up bar, you don't have a rig, but you're like, wow, I really want to improve my shoulders or my front rack, we can still do it at home if you have a wall, if you can find a corner. We just need something to put our arm up against. So if I use this post right here, the first one, remember we just had the band on our hand, just pulling back. All I'm gonna do is take my elbow, put it against the post, hand just behind my head, and I'm thinking about actively pressing right through here, kind of pulling down and pushing through the rig post. I can breathe, I can push into the post for 3 to 5 seconds and then relax. Do that 5 times and then just hang out here. For the overhead banded position, if we don't have a band, we're gonna take a wall or a corner of a wall. We're gonna think about applying pressure. So I'm gonna slide my shoulder down and back so my neck is long. I'm gonna try to apply pressure through my elbow and my palm. So sliding down, gently applying that pressure. So I'm continuing to open up through my pec minor and through my shoulder. Again, this one's a little hard to hold for 60 seconds. So I try to go 30-second efforts, maybe 2 to 3 30-second efforts before I get going in a workout. And the final stretch, if we don't have the rig or a band, is for our lats. So we just need to find something that we can hang on to. So it could be a doorknob or a door handle, whatever, just make sure the door is pulling towards you so you don't go flying through. But what I'm gonna do is grab the post. I like to turn my thumb down. You don't have to, you could grab this way as well. I just think it feels better if I cross. And then I'm just gonna sit back. From here, you don't have to take the opposite leg behind, but just kind of sit back. And I like to push my hips away from my hand so I get a nice big deep stretch through the side of my body. And I can just breathe into that stretch. So again, my hand's on the left side of my body. I wanna push my hips towards my right side. So I'm pushing away to create a bigger, deeper stretch. All right guys, so these stretches, these mobility moves are super, super important to one, keeping you healthy, and two, helping you take your performance to the next level and keep you from being in pain. So these are great to incorporate before your workout if you know you have a heavy overhead day, if you have a lot of cleans where you're gonna be putting some pressure on your wrists. They're also super awesome to add in after the workout, so you cool down, you flush out some of the blood that maybe went to those areas during your workouts, so that we can stay healthy and we can keep coming back to the gym day after day and hitting it hard. If you want to see more stuff like this, we're going to keep bringing it to you, so make sure you like, you subscribe, comment below on what you want to see next. Thanks, have a good day.